Following on from our video that we put out a few days ago, we can see that the trade idea that we had kind of pasted actually would have played out very nicely here for Cardano's ADA. Obviously, this only really barely triggered into this trade, so it could have been missed depending on where entry was. And obviously, take profit was clearly hit as we dropped down towards the 200 EMA. So this would have been a great opportunity to kind of trade into a Cardano ADA retracement, even though it did come down a little bit deeper than we first were expecting. So in today's video, we're going to be jumping into the technical analysis once again for Cardano, sharing my thoughts and opinions on where I think that price action is heading next. Let's roll the intro and get right down into it. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video update. Today we are taking a look at Cardano's ADA paired up with USDT on the 4-hour Binance chart. And as I was saying, we kind of hit that kind of great trade. We barely got entry though, so it could have been missed. I think we were within like a fraction of a cent to kind of get that one. And of course, you know, take profit being down on the 200 EMA there. Now, with this rejection and basically surge back to the upside, it has changed a few things. And we do need to kind of reconsider a couple of positions here for Cardano's ADA. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is probably just readjust our trend line here, because this trend line is still technically possible. And in fact, I might actually just leave it there for a little bit longer, see how it kind of goes. I almost want to kind of put a trend line in between this lower level just here and this higher one here, just to see how that kind of plays out. But I think I'm just going to leave that one off for now, and we'll see how price action kind of goes. At the moment, on this higher range that we were kind of talking about before, between 74.95 and 87.81, this is where the supply is. Okay, this is where we're currently getting rejected in terms of the price action. We can find that the previous area of resistance right here, okay, we rallied through it, and well, basically, we fell all the way through it. There wasn't a lot of buying in here, okay? With price, actually, the buying pressure that we saw was actually all the way down at this lower level at around 57 cents, okay? So that does show me an interesting thing for Cardano here, and that is that although this, in theory, should have turned into support, I don't think there's support to be found there at all. So I'm just going to move that out of the way. The support level actually appears to be down here, okay? I'm going to draw this in just around, I don't want to take this wick high, but I think I will, and I'll put it in here. Okay, it's more 56.8 to 61.74. Okay, so we can see that we wanted this higher range to be the area of support, but actually it turns out to be this previously lower range for Cardano. Now, as we take a look at this price action, we're tapping back up into this area of resistance, okay? So here the obvious expectation is going to be, unfortunately, a bit of a rejection and a bit of a move back to the downside. Knowing that we don't really have support of our trend line or the previous area of resistance, I'm going to be leaning more to coming down a little bit deeper for ADA and trying to find the support in this little range down here. Okay, so that's going to be kind of where my thoughts are going to be at the moment. So how are we going to trade it? Well, I think because we are reasonably high, I still see us with a potential move a little bit higher. You can still see that this stochastic RSI has some room to grow. So I don't think we should enter right at this particular moment in any particular trade. I still see us with potential moves up higher before we have these moves to the downside. So I think if we're going to short the market, I'm going to be waiting for us to come into this yellow box area again, tight stop loss above the previous swing high, and the take profit I'm going to put back down a little bit lower than the 200 EMA for a wick into this lower box range at 61.74. The risk reward ratio would be about 4.43, and basically what that means, guys, is that you're going to get $4.43 for every $1 of risk. Okay, so when it comes to risk reward ratios, we want things to be as high as possible, but also following good structural practices, and obviously making sure that we are not just gambling on the market, but we're using probability to our advantage. I personally like to trade breakouts and breakdowns, but in this particular case here, we can see that we're more in a ranging market where we have support and resistance, and we're just bouncing between the two, or have the potential to bounce between the two. So shorting the market for every $1 of risk, earning back $4.43. Now, of course, if I am to be leverage-based trading, I'm going to be trading on the BitGet platform. BitGet is my go-to platform when it comes to my leverage-based trades. There is an affiliate link to BitGet in the description down below if you haven't yet already signed up. Now, if you do, and you are new and you do use that link down below, then you are eligible for up to $30,000 of rewards and bonuses, depending on how much you deposit and trade on the platform. Now, not all countries and jurisdictions are eligible for that, so do make sure you click on the link and follow into the terms and conditions. And obviously, if you are to be trading, it is incredibly risky. You do run the risk of losing your entire capital, so make sure that you use all available resources to learn how to trade properly and safely, and minimize what risks are out there. Trading crypto is incredibly risky, so you always run the risk of losing your entire capital. Okay, let's jump back down into the charts here. Right, so we obviously know that there's this potential for a short position on Cardano's ADA, and we'd target out this little bit lower. But after this, I think this is going to be a great opportunity to go long, coming back in here with a stop loss nice and low, and take profit back up into this higher range. And hopefully eventually we'll chew through all of these sell orders and it become a fantastic place to continue this run to the upside. So looking at it, I'm going to say that we're probably going to bounce around a little bit here for ADA, and it's going to give us a couple of opportunities to kind of trade in the market. I'm going to leave this one right where it is, so we can see how that kind of plays out. Now, when it comes to kind of where we sit with this in terms of our patterns, this break that we've had to the downside is quite substantial. It's quite a big one. That wick coming down here kind of invalidates the idea of more significant surges to the upside on this 4-hour time frame. So I'm looking at this saying we're probably going to have to come down and test out the trend line. We could probably even put that stop loss a little bit deeper if we needed to. We could probably just follow that down and follow the price action until it hits a stop loss. So what I mean by that, guys, is basically just lower your stop loss, keep lowering your stop loss until it reverses on you. But essentially here we can see we find ourselves with, although we've had this breakout, we hit the upper target range, it doesn't look like it has all that much more in the tank to go. It looks like we've kind of hit the higher range expectation for now, and we're just going to kind of bounce around a little bit, get things reset and then surge, or alternatively break down, get the confirmation of a breakdown and then surge again later. Okay, that breakdown doesn't have to be massive, but I suspect it probably will be significant enough to kind of spook the market a little bit, to engage more buyers at a better price. There's obviously a lot of interesting ranges in the ADA price chart that could be really interesting to us. Now, let's go ahead and take a look, right? Obviously, we have our stochastics, which we looked at already. They still got some room to the upside. From a divergence indicator point of view, though, there isn't any major divergences between the relative strength index, that's the yellow line, and the price action. So the last one we saw was obviously the bearish divergence, which came in right up here, indicating this move to the downside. There's no bullish divergence being shown at the moment, and the RSI is above the mid-level, indicating that we still have some potential growth to the upside, but from where we are, we can quite easily reverse down as well. So it's a bit inconclusive. Now, if we take this down to the 1-hour time frame, we do see that we have some hidden bearish divergence. Now, that in itself could be why we're also looking at this potential short pattern right here. We did see a little move to the downside after the hidden bearish divergence in the same way that we did with the previous. So if we continue to see this, we might actually find ourselves with this fantastic opportunity to trade a big breakdown from this area of resistance. So just be aware that on the smaller time frame, the 1-hour time frame, here we can see that we have had a couple of hidden bearish divergences as we kind of have continued here a little bit higher in terms of this price action. But I think for now, we're going to be finding ourselves with a pretty interesting area where we might find that it's going to be a great opportunity for a trade. So keep a close eye on that. Now, if I go ahead and actually bring this back up to the 4-hour time frame, remove the divergence indicator and take a look at the volume, you can see here that good volume came in to rally us back up, but that volume disappeared very quickly. Okay, so we can see now that although price is up here, the volume that got us there was actually decreasing. So again, it shows that there isn't a lot of appetite for buying Cardano's ADA as this higher range. Essentially, that tells us that people feel that there is a premium that is being paid here, and they're more likely to buy at a discount down here a little bit lower. Okay, so premium, it feels like that people are feeling a premium at 74.95, but discounted price at 61.74. Okay, so these things basically tell us that we have supply at the upper end and demand at the lower end. And this is kind of where we kind of place Cardano's ADA. We're looking at the market here saying that there's a higher probability of a break to the downside than a break to the upside, although we might push up a little bit more before we start to see this move to the downside. I could be wrong on that, but I wouldn't want to just enter the market into a short position right away. I'd want to have good risk reward management and all of that kind of good stuff when it comes to Cardano's ADA. So guys, why don't you let me know what your thoughts are on this in the comments down below, and why don't you check out this video right here where I'm discussing what I think is going on with XRP.